So Rodney, you received today an honorary award from the university. You've received many awards. I believe you were once Yorkshireman of the Year, was it?
That's true.
How was it today? What were your thoughts today in an academic setting?
I think when you get to my time of life, I'm now into my 70s. Yeah, you're right. I've been lucky. I've been recognised on a number of occasions in a number of different ways. But you never, I hope, forget the fact that someone, a university like Huddersfield, whose reputation grows by the year, University of the Year 2013-14, the fact that they've chosen to give me an honorary degree of the university is special, and it's something for which I'm enormously honoured and grateful.
I read before that you were invited to take on the Tour de France. It was a personal, not triumph for you, but you were pleased to be asked, because you can get to the stage where you felt, yesterday's man, they all forget about me.
Well, I think any 70-year-old would say to you, I mean, the last major job I did outside of business was when I was chairman of World Snooker, which finished about 3 or 4 years ago. I did 5 years as chairman of World Snooker, took it to China. We all know how the sport's growing in China now. But you know, the players made a decision that they wanted a different chairman, and so that was the end of that. And then, having had 2 or 3 years away from any significant job related to sport, and having reached the age of 70, not surprisingly, you think that, well, maybe people will now have forgotten about what I've done and my experience. And so, having found myself in a position where I was able to be part of the first of all, brokering a deal to get the government to recognise that money was needed to fund the event in Yorkshire, having previously backed a bit from Scotland, and having succeeded, along with Leeds City Council and a number of members of Parliament, in persuading the government to make money available. The fact that they then said, well, we'd like to put the money into a special purpose vehicle and we'd like you to chair it, was obviously a great lift to me. It gave me a feeling that, well, I haven't been forgotten, and as you know from my coat of arms, the word under my coat of arms is accept the challenge, so I was never not going to say yes.
How do you feel about it personally? Because it was a triumph.
Well, I'm proud. I'm proud, and I feel some sense of satisfaction. Of course, I had 3 days to look after, because the government said if you're going to do it, you've got to look after Cambridge to London. But you can organise as much as you can, but at the end of the day, if the people don't come out and support the event, then in a sense, you've wasted your time. Where I was blessed, and I genuinely mean this, I was appointed exactly 12 months before the event was due to take place. 2 months later, I appointed a chief executive, Nicky Roach, who had been involved in the organisation of the Olympic Games in 2012, and that was the masterstroke. And she built a team around herself, half of whom were secondees from local authorities in Yorkshire, but very good, quality people, and we built a team. Nobody achieves anything in isolation. Yes, I might have been a figurehead, but at the end of the day, I was just one member of the team. And it was the team which, by the time the event took place, reached a number of 100. It was the team that delivered the event. And yes, of course, I was thrilled to be part of it, because none of us could have expected it to succeed as well as it did.
And you talk about coat of arms, accept the challenge. What challenges are out there now? Because I believe that there could be some that were put on hold while the Tour de France were.
Well, I've started 2 new businesses, 2 global opportunities. One is in the area of health and health protection, and I've now got to turn some attention to getting that company moving. People have been looking after it for me. And what I see is a unique opportunity. I've been offered the opportunity to become involved with a developer in China who has developed the first ever no glasses 3D system. And I have the first tablets, I've shown it to a number of people, and we have CBS in America are interested in being part of it, people in Pakistan, the Middle East, India, people who have made fortunes in IT, we're talking to them. So that's something I want to develop. I'm also hearing noises in the background from in London that there might be other things that people want to talk to me about away from business. I'm more involved in delivering something else.
And sport is a huge element of your business life and probably your personal life as well. Is that going to play a part? Because it keeps coming back. It's a recurring theme.
Well, it is. I suppose
CV.
It really started with Wakefield Trinity, then the Rugby League, then Leicester City, then Brands Hatch, Donington Park, Sports Council, Sports Lottery, Commonwealth Games, Wembley.
Did all these find you, or did you find them as such?
Well,
was it purposely?
No. It's funny as that, because a former member of Parliament once said to me, "Will you go looking for these opportunities?" I wanted to get involved in Wakefield. That would be true, but really, I mean, one of my favourite expressions is, "You can't demand respect; you can only earn respect." And the fact that I get asked to do this isn't because I say I want to do that. It's because people ask me, and sometimes I say yes, more times than I should, I think, and sometimes I say no. But no, I mean, I've done these jobs because people think that I can make a contribution, and most of the time I have, and most of the time I think it's been positive. I've had one or two disappointments. The Rugby League World Cup of 8 years ago didn't go as well as I would have hoped, and that's why I was delighted it went as well as it did this year. But if you do as much as I do, not everything is going to. And that's why I suppose I'm particularly pleased that the Tour de France went as well as it did. People have often asked me, what are the things that I'm most proud of? And I suppose they expect me to say Wembley Stadium or whatever it is. But the answer has always been getting the theatre in Wakefield reopened. Because I always go to the Panto every year, sit in the audience, packed audience, and I listen to the children enjoying the Panto. And I always come away thinking, well, that was worth the effort and sleepless nights in getting this place open. I have to say, after the Tour de France, the answer might be different now, because I think being part of that was special.
Is that from a Yorkshire point of view? Was it
yeah. I mean, Gary Verity brought the event to Yorkshire to put Yorkshire, showcase Yorkshire, if you like, on the world stage. And my goodness me, didn't it? But, you know, to be part of the organisation that delivered the successful event, I have to say, it gives me a sense of personal satisfaction. I mean, we're already hearing, aren't we? The first anecdotal evidence is that 20% of the people in the rest of the UK are now thinking about coming to Yorkshire as a result of what they saw, as compared to previously. Worldwide, well, who knows? It'll take a long, long time before we're able to analyse the growth of the numbers of people who visit Yorkshire as a consequence of the tour, but it undoubtedly showcased Yorkshire in a way like nothing else. After all, 3.5–4 million people to a free event over 3 days. There has been nothing before that's comparable. The Olympics are big, the Commonwealth Games are big, but they don't attract those numbers, certainly not over 3 days, and to a free event. So to be part of that has been a privilege, and yes, I enjoyed it, and I still have a glow a week or 10 days later, and we're just going to make sure now we build on that and make sure we keep putting Yorkshire centre stage as far as the rest of the country and the world is concerned.
At the University of Huddersfield, we work very hard to instill entrepreneurship into our students. In fact, a good number of them start their own business. They may have more than one business. What interested me about what you just said there was that, what advice would you give to these people in terms of failing? Because not everything will work. What would you say to them?
Not everything does work, can work. And sometimes failure is not your own fault. It could be down to someone that you've supplied who goes into receivership and they don't pay your bills and it kills your business. It's happened to no, it hasn't happened to me, but it certainly nearly happened to me. I think often when I've talked about starting your own business, which I have on, not recently, but in different parts of my life, the thing that I would say is that if someone had have said to me when I decided to start my first business, here is a list of all the problems that you're going to have, nobody in the right mind would have started out on the journey. But the fact you start the journey and you're faced with the pitfalls, the potholes, the blockages, because you're on the journey, you deal with them. And more often than not, you deal with them, get over them, move on to the next one. And so the message to anyone thinking of starting on their own, it isn't going to be easy. But prepare yourself for the fact that it's not just as easy as putting your name plaque up on a wall and saying, there you are, I'm in business. There will be problems to face, but if you're committed, you'll deal with them, you'll get over them, and you'll progress.
The University of Huddersfield, inspiring tomorrow's professionals.